Hi, I'm Corey. I'm 32 years old, and this is my story. Life was very surreal for at least 2 weeks at home, at least. It was only when Travis really started telling me, like, in detail what the experience was like for him that it made me emotional and it made me want to try and conceptualize what had happened.
I saw my wife and Corey's co-worker both looking down, and I thought it was the dog from next door that had come on in.
I picked up the phone and my eyes rolled to the back of my head. Blair said I just rolled my eyes and she thought I was messing around, but then I dropped to the floor.
And I see my wife Carolyn going, "Oh my God." And I thought, it seems odd, so then I went around the counter, and by that time Blair had Corey's head in her lap, and she wasn't obviously doing very well. So then after that, then I started, I put her on the ground, and well, she was already lying on the ground, so then I started pumping her chest a bit, and then started doing mouth-to-mouth on her.
Well, I think it was right around lunchtime, and we were trying to make our way back to the firehouse to get something to eat. We'd had sort of a busy morning, and we were just sitting down to eat when the bell rang again for us to go out on another call. I believe they did, the dispatch was for a woman in her 30s having a seizure at a restaurant.
Well, Blair was saying, "Oh, she's just having a seizure," but I was seeing that I could almost see that she wasn't breathing, and there didn't seem to be any life in her whatsoever. I didn't take her pulse, but I put my hand right over her mouth, and there was no breathing going on. So and also the color wasn't, it just didn't see, she definitely wasn't there.
When we got there on scene, we loaded our equipment on the gurney and started making our way to the door of the restaurant. And I believe it was the firefighter or the officer stuck their head out the door and sort of motioned for us to hurry up and get in there. And as we got to the threshold of the door, they picked up the monitor and they showed it to us, which was showing VFib. For me, what was surprising, seeing the VFib and then coming around the corner and seeing Corey on the ground, was that we were looking at a young woman, obviously, and also a woman that looked really healthy too. So that was pretty surprising. But just taking one look at her, you could tell that her color was poor, and the guys were already working her up as if she was in a cardiac arrest. I believe, if my recollection of the call is right, we did get pulses back for a second on scene, so we started to prepare to load her up in the ambulance and get going to the hospital. And as we were loading her up, her pulses went away again, and she was back in a VFib, so we had to shock again and get up in the ambulance, and we took the firefighter with us as extra help. And in the ambulance, then we administered some more drugs and kept the CPR going. And by halfway to the hospital, we had consistent pulses back.
I think they put the stent in, and then they induced a coma and put me on ice so that my body would just completely shut down and my heart could try and recuperate without having to run the blood through my body. I did come out of it, and I woke up talking, and even though I was still not totally coherent, I was talking, and the doctors were super, super pleased. And finally, a doctor was like, somebody must have been doing CPR on her, because she's just really just popping out of this. They really thought I would have been in the hospital for at least a month.
Without what Jimmy did with the bystander CPR, she wouldn't be alive today.
People have, come up to me and said, "You realize that, if it wasn't for you, then she could very possibly be dead." And I don't know if that's the case or not, but if it is, then that's great. I'm just a little bit embarrassed about it. It's it makes me sort of think a little bit differently about living, as in, 1 minute you're here, and then next minute you might just be gone. So just sort of enjoy it as much as you can whilst you're here, no matter what, really, for me.
I just feel so grateful that, it wasn't my time.